Good morning. As you guys are hopping on, it is 8 o'clock. April 16th, tax day came and went. For those of you that have not filled out your tax returns, you still have 2 months, as far as I know. So anyways, as you guys are popping on, please say hello. Say hello so that way other people see this. Good morning, Bailey. Bailey is absolutely right now rocking it. She is one of the top enrollers in our entire organization. She is I think went 1 star here 2 weeks ago. Director and is continued to. This is what exciting. It's exciting, and I had no reason other than Bailey's the first one to say hi, than to talk about Bailey. But other than what's really, really exciting is to see the duplication Bailey is having in her organization with others. And that's super exciting stuff. And that means that that's where it's really going to grow. So as you guys are all saying good morning, Sherry, Rachel, Susie, Carrie, Jennifer, thank you for being here. Whoever else, go ahead and say hi. So that way I can say hi to you guys as well. Well, I'm going to try to keep this without being too long-winded. There's a lot of things happening. Going to remind you, in case you missed it, the IsaLife app got updated, so that way in your recommended carts, you can toggle between people having to get lifestyle rewards or not. So just as a heads up, you can do that, and you can do that individual cart. You don't have to do that all one way or the other to help streamline a little bit. Next is the opportunity. Next thing coming. Geez, let me get this organized here. Get all disheveled. Is in 2 weeks. Remember, spring catalog. It's going to be coming out. A bunch of cool new products. I hope in the next couple days. I'm going to ask for that diligently today for some images so we can continue to start sharing that, getting people prepared, excited for that time coming. All right. What do we got here? Yesterday, I had the opportunity to hop on another team call and got to share a lot of the things I'm sharing here. And one of them went into, and then I had the conversation with Kelly. So if you missed it, Vision Driven Leader, great book from Michael Hyatt. It's a real quick listen. I listened to it in a morning drive. And anyways, it's great. And I'll probably try to break that down in a totally separate training because it needs more time. So I'm going to try to do that in the next week. All right. I will commit to doing that in the next week. Go through Vision, talk about Vision, and maybe Kelly and I will kind of do that as a live as we walk through it. And yes, so anyways, some of you have started. Great. Okay, next thing, let's get into the topic of today is make the future you want or accept the future you get. So I say this here, and I think you guys are listening. You guys have been involved in Isagenix for long enough. You kind of see that vision, understand that vision. You really have the opportunity to make the future you want, but you got to be committed to it. And here's though where I think we can fall prey to, we're just getting what we get. It's no lie in anything is, what effort you put in is what you get. And there's some people that try to shortchange it. There's some people that try to shortchange that, whether they do it intentionally or not, or maybe they fall into a pattern of like, this is just the way it's going to be. Well, that's accepting the future you're going to get. If you want to change the future, if you want to, put yourself on a different path, well, you got to start taking different steps. And so I encourage you guys to think about that, to think about if you were to sit down and say, what do I want? What don't I want? But here's where it really, really is important today. We have the opportunity to live out the future we want in front of others, not in spite of them, but because we have that opportunity. And that's what's going to be really compelling for people. We can be down, we can be downtrodden, we can get depressed, maybe like some others. But here's the reality is we know there's an opportunity. We know that it's going to take time. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take frustrations, as I've shared with you guys, but it is worth it. It is absolutely worth it, because the only way to change the future you want is to take actions to change that. It's not necessarily playing the lottery or pulling a lever on a slot machine. You have to be able to say, okay, what do I want? What are the steps to get there? Who do I need with me, around me, and who do I need to follow? And so that enters into this second conversation. My suggestion to you guys is be hyper protective of your mind right now. I can kind of share with you guys, for the first couple weeks of the, of coronavirus in the US, whether you were in quarantine, whether you were stay at home, whether you were whatever, we had just gotten back from Israel. And so it was just kind of trying to get our hands on what the world looked like, trying to understand what our kids were going through. And I won't lie to you, I digested coronavirus, articles left and right. I was on New York Times. I was on our local newspaper. I was on Google News. I was on Apple News. And I was just looking for information to better understand. And then I'm going to say 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, I got burnt out by all the chatter. Now, I think part of it is because it's just a bunch of chatter. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay the severity. I'm not trying to downplay the necessity for first responders and what they're doing. I'm not trying to downplay any of that. But understand, my role is not to be as a paramedic or in a hospital. It's just not, that's not me. At the same point, I don't have a business that is, right now, every day, looking at those reports to understand how's it going to affect my business. In other words, another case that is discovered does not change what my day is going to be. Unfortunately, the news of someone passing away from the coronavirus is not going to affect anything that I have the opportunity to do today. And so while it is important to be informed, I think it's really important to be hyper protective of your mind. Is, as you're spending time, reading articles, as you're, spending time watching documentaries, as you're spending time watching reports, is what good is that doing to making the future you want? Or is it putting you into the paralysis of accepting the future you get? And so my encouragement today is, guys, be hyper protective of your mind. We have a great opportunity, and this is one of the things I listened this morning, is there's going to be a lot of people that, have some serious downfall. Maybe some of you listening, we've talked about it, your businesses that you've had otherwise or other careers are going to be massively affected. It's a, with 10% of our entire population in the US that owns their own business, many of those are never going to have that business again. The reality is the economy will be different every day going forward than it was before. There will not be, when we get back to it. No, it's not going to happen. That's okay. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. That's the exciting reality. And for us, as I'm seeing in our Isagenix business, that's a great thing, because that's an opportunity to share with people that maybe are more looking now. And so our opportunity is to be that shining light, to say, no, we have a better way. And so we need to practice that. And so we need to be hyper protective of our mind and get out of the conspiracy theory and worry about who's trying to do what. Control what's in your box to control today and deal with what's in front of you tomorrow. If you have the opportunity to affect change and that's part of your day in policy, then fine. But if you're looking at it to say, how can I affect the world that I'm in? Man, I look at it to say it's to be a positive light and not to get sucked into the doldrums of what if. Because I know when you end up in that position, you start accepting the future. You start playing out all the scenarios of, what happens if this, or what happens if that, and what happens if this. Man, unless you're the one that's on the front line briefing some of that stuff, I don't know what value that has. Now, I'm not judging. Again, if you are, that's great. But I also am going to encourage you to be hyper protective of your mind. Just put the naysayers away, put the conspiracy theorists away, put all that stuff away and say, what's in front of you? What can you do for yourself or your family? How can you improve what's in front of you? You know, if you read books, it's not hard to read through a lot of books and say, the soil is fertile. It's what seed you plant in it is the harvest you reap. So if you're planting seeds of doubt, if you're planting seeds of discontent, if you're planting seeds of worry and woe about what might come down, then that's what you're going to continually reap. But if you're sowing seeds of options and possibility and, whatever in the future, guess what you're going to reap? Now, does it mean it's going to be easy? No. You got to do a lot of tilling of the soil. You got to do a lot of, getting rid of the weeds. You got to do a lot of weed control. You got to do that. It's going to happen either way. You plant seeds of discontent, you plant seeds of value, and you're going to have to weed it in order to get a crop. And, that's, again, my encouragement to you guys is the future you want is in front of you. It's just till the soil, fertilize, plant the seeds, do all those things. But if you get the future you get, it's because of the seeds that you sow. And be hyper protective of your mind. I mentioned this a week or so ago, and it's something that I'm trying to focus on is what is one area that I need to focus on the most? Because I think in life there's such an amazing plethora of information that you can get stuck in the fire hose of information. Now, does it mean that you don't need to share information? No, I'm telling you need to share information just like I am now, but keep it hyper focused and say, I'm going to stay in this lane. Because if I stay in this lane, it's called a principle. It's called Sheehan's principle. Look it up. And it's like, instead of coming out with, if you wanted to spray water through some type of wall, water can cut steel. Water that is like hyper, with a ton of force, a ton of, pressure. It can cut through the hardest of elements, water. However, water that is just, thrown out of a bucket with no pressure will cut nothing. But if you hyper focus it, then all of a sudden you're going to make massive change going forward. And so that's my encouragement today is, guys, stay hyper protective of your mind. Let the conspiracy theorists, let the naysayers, let the woe is my life go. Does it mean that I don't want you to be compassionate? No, we all need to be compassionate, empathetic where people are at. But it's also hearing that and then saying, okay, this is what I can do to move forward. So that's my encouragement today. That's my excitement today. Reminder about the ISOLife app. I know there was a question on Sherry. I think if you go to the back office in your manage recommended carts, or you should be able to see that option there. If it's not, then reload the app. That's always a good thing to do. Next thing is 2 weeks comes out the seasonal catalog, and tomorrow, remember, big reminder. I'm going to put this in the comments here, so that way we all remember Family Friday, because I have a better F to go with it. If you want to have Fun Friday, I'm cool with that. Why don't we vote? Do you want to do Fun Friday, Family Friday, whatever it may be? Zoom tomorrow, guys. Hop on Zoom. It's a lot more fun. Let's hear it. You guys don't want to see my shiny bald head all the time. Instead, I would love for you guys to be on there. And this is what we're going to do, is you have to share a win. What's a win that you've had this week? Now, that doesn't mean it could be just a learning lesson. Like I learned and I shared a little bit with you guys is I need to clarify. I need to clarify what I do, how I do it, why I do it, because that's what's important and that's what's been told to me. That was a win because I learned. I was exposed to it. So, that's what we're going to do is share wins. And my encouragement is that you guys share those in a platform that everyone can see it. And so that's what's coming tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining in today. I hope this, brought value to you. I hope this, either kind of kept you on a path or redirected you or just kind of confirmed where you're at. And that's great. And so I'm thankful you guys are here. I'm always thankful for everyone that says hi, engages. It makes it more exciting for me to interact with you guys. So see you tomorrow on Zoom. The link will be posted in Impact Makers. And I'm excited for you guys to be there with me tomorrow, so I'm not alone.